is an issue. I think some people have been trying to blame the EC for why they did not vote for a member of parliament.
In the area.
Let's get the records clear. The Parliament of Ghana passed that district, the LI which created the district. Right. It passed somewhere on November 10th. We had the elections December 7th. Yeah. So the LI that created that particular district, it passed the parliament somewhere November 9th or November 10th, 2020. And they wrote to us, I think through either the Ministry of Local Government or Parliament itself, wrote to us to inform us. And when we got that letter, it was around either 13th or 14th. So when we got that letter, Parliament was even on recess. And once the LI created the SALL district, EC must now lay a new CI to create a constituency. How many days for you to lay for a CI to mature? 21 working days. Right. When Parliament is sitting, 21 days. So the time Parliament passed that district, the LI that created the district, and the time we received it, Parliament was even on. So no, anyone who blames the EC for why the people there did not vote for a member of Parliament just doesn't understand. The person doesn't get it. But the EC had nothing to do with it.
But the problem...
The blame should go to Parliament.
But the problem is still there.
No, the problem is still there because, by law, by our law, a member of Parliament, for presidential election, the whole Ghana is one constituency. Right. That's why they voted in the presidential election. But for the parliamentary, one MP cannot be voted for in two separate districts. Right. So December 7th, Hohoi was a district. December 7th, 2020, Hohoi was a district. Where Mr. Kofi Adams is also the member of Parliament. Yeah, the Buem. Yeah. Also a district. The SALL was also a district. So the people of SALL, if they had voted for the MP for Buem, or they had voted for the MP for Hohoi, that would have been an illegality. I hope you consider that.
But that's why I'm asking about what your lawyers are telling you, because I'm sure that it's come to your attention.
The Commission has taken the steps.
The group says they've petitioned you as well.
No, the Commission has taken the steps.
So what's the resolution now? Would they have to wait until 2024? Is that the resolution now?
Per our laws, when it happens that way, I know it's the next election. Unless maybe the member of Parliament at a place has died, vacated, or something. But per law, I'm sure it's going to be the next election. The EC has taken the steps to be able to lay a CI to create that particular constituency. And a number of things are going on there.
So your message to constituents there is that they should wait until the
they'll vote in the next election as far as the law is concerned.
Some lawyers have also argued that we could just start afresh, organize fresh elections in the area for them to at least have the opportunity to cast their vote for an MP. I
think that one, the EC is a law-abiding institution. If somebody takes this issue to court, and the Supreme Court or any of the higher courts comes up with a ruling that the EC should go ahead and organize a fresh elections for them, we'll go ahead and do it. Well, the EC is a law-abiding institution, and the experts will tell you the law is what the Supreme Court says it is. So if in the wisdom of the court, we should go ahead and organize for them, the EC will go ahead and do it.
So you heard that Dr. Bosman Asari, Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Now, we do know the residents of Santo Kofi Akpafu, Lolobi and Likbe, who were prevented from participating in the parliamentary elections, have been in court seeking an opportunity to elect their member of parliament. But we heard from the Deputy EC Chairperson who says they may have to wait all the way till 2024. Now, how does this pan out or resonate with their leaders? We'll have their reactions. Joining us for that conversation, Dr. Joe Addae. He is co-chairman for the Joint Steering Committee on SALL. Dr. Addae, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on the AM show.
Yeah, good morning to your cherished listeners, and thank you for having me online.
2 years on since the last election. Maybe my first question to you, why not let this rest until 2024?
You understand that Dr. Bosman reiterated in his remarks that the Constitution is the ground a document on which we work. And the mandate given EC is to organize elections, declare results, and then whatever. So what EC clearly did is that they exceeded their mandate, because there is nowhere in the Constitution where EC had been, or any institution had been given a mandate to disenfranchise people. And for your listeners to actually understand the problem that emanated from this, and we cannot let it rest, is that for the background, for the record, there is one Valentin Addae, an NDC member in the Hawker constituency, who filed a suit at the Ho High Court challenging the NDC parliamentary candidate elect. And this case was referred to the Supreme Court for interpretation. And I think I have the judgment of the Supreme Court, which was delivered on the 22nd of June, of the 24th of June 2020. Just a summary. And it said, however, it is provided under Clause 6 of Article 47 that any review of constituencies shall take effect upon the dissolution of the next parliament. Accordingly, we ordered the Electoral Commission to amend CI 95. CI 95 is the CI that created the Hawker constituency, that to bring it in conformity with CI 112. And the CI 112 is the creation of OT instrument. Such amendment shall take effect upon the dissolution of the next of the parliament. That is after the 6th of January 2021. So what happened was that in the attempt, the EC made an attempt to amend this CI 95 to replace it with 128. This was laid on the 7th of July 2020. But you know, the law also states, that is Article 11. I don't want to bother, I'm not a lawyer, but at least for the benefit of this discussion, Article 11, Clause 7 says that anything that becomes law in Ghana must be laid before Parliament and gazetted. You understand? So what happened was that the Attorney General took this SALL case from Ho High Court and brought it to the Supreme Court. And it was at the Supreme Court that it came to light that the CI 128, which actually sought to remove SALL communities from the Hawker constituency, was not gazetted. So it was determined that it is no law. That means, because if you read the judgment, they said they should, however, take steps to amend the CI 95 to come in conformity. And if you refuse to amend the CI 128, is it our fault that you should go unilaterally and disenfranchise us? So that is the basis of our disenfranchisement. And that is why we believe that the rule of law must apply.
The rule of law must apply. I don't think the Electoral Commission disagrees with you, but here is what Dr. Bosman Asare has been saying. He is saying the EC should not be blamed. It is not within their jurisdiction. It is Parliament that failed to do the right thing, on the back of which they inherited that problem. How do you react to that?
Yes, I think I can recall on the 10th of May 2021, the same Dr. Bosman was on your Joy FM probe. And then he sought to convince Ghanaians that he wanted to amend the CI 1 so that SALL people can vote. And the question now is that if the CI 128 had been proved in law that doesn't exist and it is not a law, how do you now turn around to claim that you want to amend a law which is constitutionally flawed and doesn't exist? So you could see that the EC itself, through its leadership, is also playing games on Ghanaians. You understand?
You say it is playing games. Why is it playing games?
Yeah, because if an instrument doesn't exist, so the issue is that as we speak now, by law, the CI 95, which created the Hawker constituency with SALL members intact, is still in place. So how do you now turn around and say you want to amend something which doesn't exist. You understand? That is the fundamental problem that we have with EC itself.
So the EC is in itself fostering an illegality. It is shifting goalposts. That's what you're saying, and trying to justify the situation.
And that is why, if you recall, again on the 9th of March this year, the Honorable Attorney General was in Parliament and then said that, yes, the LI that created the so-called Guan district, does not exist. It's in an illegality. Because he was questioning why should, like Dr. Bosman reiterated, that you need 21 days to create a new constituency. And from his remarks, he was saying that an LI was late in November. And November to 7th December you cannot even count 2 weeks, let alone the 21 days. So the Attorney General, in his remarks, which is also captured in the parliamentary handset, that the removal of SALL from Hohwe was an illegality. So he would recommend that Parliament should admit that they have erred and then reverse whatever LI that had been late, so that the people of SALL will be allowed to vote and be represented in the 8th Parliament. It is a very clear-cut decision, because if you look, the Attorney General is the lawyer of the government and for the people. So and I think EC must also take instructions from the government lawyer. That is my position. So, I just want to refer Dr. Bosman to the parliamentary handset of 9th March 2022. Yes, if the Attorney General had admitted that the LI that created, or the so-called Guan district where SALL is supposed to find itself, is an illegality and they did it in error. If you create an error or a mistake, what is the best thing to do? You only reverse it. Does it cost EC or the Parliament to reverse the mistake that they have created in error? So that is the issue. So, Dr. Bosman is very clear from the onset that what they are doing is just an illegality. So for now, that is what I can say to that.
Right. So as it stands, Santo-Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi are a sort of orphan constituency put together. You are a sort of orphan constituency. What would the implications be if what Dr. Bosman Asare suggests, prevails, so that as of 2024, you don't have any parliamentary candidate or anyone representing SALL all the way until 2024? What would be the impact on this constituency?
No, the impact of it is clearly that if you look at the Constitution, I would say that somebody is abusing the Constitution. You understand? Because we are all Ghanaians. As we speak now, we are paying taxes, and from those taxes, they are paying EC and Dr. Bosman out of it. So it is our legitimate right to be represented in the 8th Parliament and not the 9th, as he is suggesting. You understand? Because the supreme law of the country is the Constitution. And here we are now, one arm of government or one institution trying to subvert it. You understand? So that is the position that I take, because the greatest tragedy for humanity, and particularly for Ghana, is that basic institutions of upholding the critical virtues and democracy have generated into chaos, impired by lawlessness, greed, and ethnocentrism and tribalism and indiscipline. That is what the EC is now trying to exhibit. Because the law is very clear that LI that created the SALL district, or whatever they call it, is an illegality. It doesn't exist. They erred by creating it. So what is a simple answer to that? Reverse it, and then you do the needful, because Parliament is there to support or help them. So why do you use your own discretion and say these people must not vote and should not vote?
Right. Let's just address 3 questions very quickly and wrap the conversation. But I just want to have you explain to us. You use the word tribalism. How does tribalism come into this?
Yes, because if you look at all that is going on, why is it that the whole Ghana, it is only a certain group of people who have been disenfranchised and the whole world is sitting down unconcerned? If this thing had happened in any other jurisdiction, do you think it will go down well with everybody? Because people of SALL, we are Guans and we have been listening. So I believe that it could be part of these tribalistic tendencies because it's never heard of.
So tribalistic tendencies from where exactly?
I don't know, but from what I am telling you...
From the general political system? It is very
clear the Constitution says you should not disenfranchise anybody who is 18 years and above of sound mind. And you have supervised, you have given us voters a voting right, and you turn around 6 hours to a general election and said, these particular people, because they find themselves in a certain enclave, should not vote. For what reason? I mean, right. I see. Anyway, if the word tribalism is too hard, I don't know. I mean, we can find a possible replacement.
Right.
But I could see that as lawlessness if we can replace tribalism with lawlessness, because this is what is happening. And that is the reality on the ground. You understand? Because from what I've reiterated earlier on, the government's lawyer was saying that what the 7th Parliament did was a mistake. So corrected, because Dr. Bosman, is also on record saying that the LI to create what you call the Guan district was passed in November, knowing very well you are organizing elections in December. I mean, how do you describe it? Is it not indiscipline or lawlessness? I mean, they could have stopped them from day one.
Right. Let's quickly get your reflection on this. Some have suggested that SALL be conjoined with BUIM or other closer constituencies so you can get representation. How do you feel about that?
Yes. Once more, I'm not a student of history, but to put it on record, SALL communities were part and parcel of Jessica Karachi enclave. And because of certain happenings, we parted with Jessica or BUIM for that matter since 1945. And from 1940, so that even in 1968, we voted with the Biakuye constituency. And then in 1978, we were the integral part of the Hohwe. So since the inception of the Third and Fourth Republics, SALL had always been voting in Hohwe. So, like I've told you, that the the CI, which is supposed to correct what you call the errors that came up earlier on, was saying that yes, it must be cured, and that SALL must be allowed to vote in Hohwe, because we only know Hohwe as our constituency since the inception of the Fourth Republic. However, I think I want to put it on record that on the 27th of November 2020, we wrote specifically to EC demanding clarity on the election and the voting status of Akpafu and Lolobi traditional areas. And EC organized, a press conference chaired by one Mr. Tete, and told the whole world that SALL people will be voting in their mother constituency. And where is the mother constituency? Because it is the same EC who supervised the selection and nomination of parliamentary candidates for Hohwe. And they knew very well that we were part and parcel of Hohwe. So how do you turn around 12 hours to election and say these people cannot vote? So you could see that, I don't know. But that is the reality. We are part and parcel of Hohwe. So we need to vote in Hohwe. So the best thing is that I think Parliament should take a second look at this. After all, when mistakes are made, you can only correct them.
Right.
Yes, we call for a rerun in Hohwe, and that is where we belong, and that is where we have always belonged and participated in electoral processes.
Okay. All right. So just to wrap the conversation, even before we get into what the next step would be for your joint steering committee as far as this court process is concerned, let's also take a quick look. You still have, in terms of development, you still have, a district chief executive, chief executives, assemblymen, and all of that, which would mean that development hasn't necessarily come to a standstill in Santon Kofi Akakpo, Likpe, and Lolobi. Has development been affected because you don't have an MP? Just add that to what your next move would be in court, and it's a wrap for this conversation.
No, our next move in court, our next move is that we want EC officially to write to us and communicate their decision. We would consult our legal brains. That aside, I think the solution lies in Parliament because, like I said earlier on, the Attorney General came and told Parliament that, yes, the creation of that district in Guam or whatever they call it is an error. So the simple thing is that we are waiting for Parliament to effect what the government lawyer has said. And that solves the problem. Because as we speak now, we don't even know this in the roads, the hospitals and everything. Because, you see, because we don't belong to any directorate. As I speak now, my hometown, Lolobi, we used to have 4 midwives who were under the Volta Regional Health Directorate. But because of this confusion about where we should belong, all those midwives have been withdrawn. And teachers in the primary, middle, and tertiary circles have also been withdrawn because, as we speak now, there is no development. We are even losing the manpower and workforce within this enclave.
So you're saying the lack of
assembly that had been created is non-functional.
Right.
There is nothing going on.
Dr. Addae, you're saying the lack of an MP has also led to, and the lack of positioning in this electoral system also means that development has been affected. Clearly, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, because if you are aware, even the whole country, when was the last time the District Assembly Common Fund was paid? From my checks, I think they are in arrears about almost a year now. So if there is a district on paper and there is no common fund, there is nothing. Nothing is working. I am from the place. The youth are just becoming very idle and restless. You understand? So there is no development, and with this current state of affairs, the government cannot even pay the common fund. So where should development come from?
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So I believe, in conclusion, I think back to the main issue that EC has gradually and systematically led SALL and Ghana into a slaughterhouse. That is it. Because the order of the day now is that we have come back to ground zero, where many are now comfortable with sycophancy, begging and seeing no evil. They will see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. But I believe you, as a journalist, the fourth arm of government, you are doing a human job. We need to congratulate you that at least you have given us that chance to air our grievances and educate the masses. But I also urge you people to also put pressure on EC and Parliament to do the needful so that we will have a lovely country to live in.
Dr. Addae, I know I said that was the final bit. If you can do this in 10 seconds for me, I'll be grateful. What do you contemplate about voting with the Ghana card? It's an afterthought, I agree, but just your quick thoughts on that. The Ghana card and its role in voting moving into election 2024, as put forward by Dr. Bosman Asare. What is your quick take? Very quick take on that.
I think it is very good, but I believe that it is a recipe for disaster and confusion. Because, you see, Ghana card will not limit you into your constituency. You understand? So I can see some political parties or smarties outwitting the system, whereby they would pack people into they'll take people from their strongholds and send them to their weak areas so that they can also grab those seats. So I believe that, yes, Ghana card is good, but I don't think it is the best to be used for the upcoming elections. Otherwise, because I can take my Ghana card now and go to Tamale and vote. You understand? So I think it is going to open more floodgates for fraud and confusion in the future. That is what I see.
All right.
But I stand for correction.
Dr. Addae, thank you very much for engaging as co-chairman of the Joint Steering Committee of SALL. Of course, we know that there's always a list as far as elections are concerned, specific to every constituency. And there's also been talk about those who are going to be 18 moving forward and how the Ghana card would feed into the conversation. But whatever it will be used for, a lot of concern, that must be addressed ahead of those elections in 2024 and beyond. But that was Dr. Addae. Stay with us. A lot more still to come as we talk the Habitat Fair, EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair ahead of the weekend. Do stay.